Hello viewers of my channel Nurturing Intellect. On the celebration eve of the National Science Day, in continuation of first part, the students of KV Gandhinagar Cant were so much overwhelmed after getting motivated by me that they came forward with many activities which I have compiled in the second part and further in part 3. So keep watching the second episode of National Science Day.
So, I have two balloons here. If I blow air in between the balloons, then what will happen? It's obvious that both the balloons will attract each other and move inwards. But is it due to Bernoulli's principle? Bernoulli's principle, formulated by Daniel Bernoulli, states that as the speed of a moving fluid increases, liquid or gas, the pressure within the fluid decreases. Another reason for the attraction of balloons could be due to the presence of two groups of air molecules, one which pushes the balloon inwards and the other outwards. When we blow air in between the balloons, the molecules which push it outwards are blown away, and hence the balloon attracts. The next reason for the attraction of the balloons could be the presence of Coanda effect. Coanda effect is the tendency of a fluid jet to stick to a convex surface. As we can see over here, the air sticks to the surfaces of the balls and moves along it. Due to the Coanda effect, a low pressure area is created due to which the balloons attract. All explanations are not correct, but which one do you think is the closest?
Hello everyone. Today I, Riddhi Jindal of Vidyalaya Gandhinagar Kent, is going to explain about Brachistochrone curve, about which we got to know during our visit to IIT Gandhinagar. So let's start. As you can see on the chart, there are some kind of lines on it. These are 4 parts. Part 1, straight line. Part 2, cycloid. Part 3, semi-steep curve. Part 4, steep curve. Now we are going to see which path is the fastest for an object or an object like ball to reach the ground from top position to the ground. If we drop the ball from the top of all these points at the same time, what do you think? Which ball will reach the ground first? Answer for this question is part 2. Now you must be thinking, why? So let me explain you why. Brachistochrone curve. It says if a particle of mass m from point A to point B moves under the influence of gravity, which path this particle should choose so that it can take minimum time to reach from point 1 to point 2. Let's see why part 2 wins. Let's look after steep curve first. In this, ball initially gains some velocity under the influence of gravity. But because of its elongated path, it takes time, and also as it is getting flattened at the end, due to this its velocity reduces, and this together being the reason for the longer time. Semi-steep curve, the reason is also same, but as it is having smaller path than that of steep curve, it will take lesser time than steep curve. Now talk about cycloid. Let's know why it takes the least time. In this, it also gains velocity, but it has curvy surface throughout its path. Because of this, it will gain velocity continuously throughout the path, and it takes minimum time to reach the ground first. After getting to know about part 4, part 3 and part 2, now you must be thinking why. Why a straight line takes larger time despite of having smallest path? Let me tell you. For the case of straight line, it doesn't have any curved surface, because of which it travels with the same velocity throughout the path. It's being the reason for the longer time. Hope you get to know more about Brachistochrone curve. Thank you.
Good evening everyone, I am Alicia Palat from class 11 science and today I am going to explain how to create fire without matchstick. If we take potassium permanganate and add glycerol into it, it will catch fire. So without matchstick, you can generate fire. The reason behind causing the fire is that potassium permanganate is an oxidizing agent. When it reacts with glycerol, it gets oxidized to aldehyde and then to carboxylic acid, and then it gets completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water. This reaction is a highly exothermic reaction. It releases a large amount of heat and causes fire. So that's why we don't need matchstick to burn it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Pavitra from class 11 science, and today I'm going to demonstrate and explain an experiment done by the IIT student called the invisible glass. As you can see, I have a glass filled with glycerol and a test tube filled with glycerol. As you can see, the test tube is invisible. It's because of something called the refractive index. Now what would happen if I change the substance to something else? Well, in the experiment done by the IIT student, they only showed us what if I used some other substance instead of glycerol. Well, I could use the cooking oil that we use at home every day. It has somewhat of the same refractive index as of a glycerol. Glycerol being 1.46 and cooking oil being 1.44. As you can see here, I have a glass filled with cooking oil and a test tube filled with cooking oil. Now, as you can see, it is invisible. Why is this happening? Well, it's because of something called refraction. The refractive index of the glass and the oil is somewhat same, the refractive glass being 1.52 and the oil being 1.44. Same with glycerol. This is why your eyes can differentiate between these objects. Now let's do the same experiment but with water. The pencil seems to be bending at the boundary between water and air. But is it really bending though? No, it's not. The speed of light is different from water and air. So the light coming from one part of the pencil line below the water changes its direction on coming out into the air. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.
Hello everyone, my name is Tanish Karmakar of class 11th A. So today I am going to explain you what is a non-Newtonic fluid and how can we prepare it. A fluid that changes property when a force or a stress is applied. So how can we prepare it? It's also a very easy process. We need just two things, a cornstarch and water. When a cornstarch and water mix very well, it forms a substance which is known as oblique. So here is the chemical formula or a structure of oblique. So basically oblique is a heterogeneous mixture. When we applied force in it, it changed its property to a solid, but when no force is applied, it acts as a liquid. For example, if I punch oblique very hard, it acts like a solid and it hurts me. But if I just put my finger like this and slowly, it acts like as a liquid. When we applied a force in it, it changed its property to a solid, just a short period of time, and this is also known as jamming. So thank you and have a nice day.
Seeing the enthusiasm of students who visited IIT Gandhinagar, I sometimes feel proud of them about their keenness to take guidance to launch their knowledge through activities. We'll meet again in part 3. Don't forget to like and subscribe the channel and pressing the bell icon to get notice of new videos by me.